Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today is going to be another exciting show. The reason why? Outstanding guest. Like every other show, outstanding guest, informative information. Today, we're going to talk about rebranding. Not just rebranding, but several different categories. Rebranding, how somebody has taken their talent and really took it to a whole different level at such a very young age. Today in show, we have a young lady who's definitely rebranding and mastering it, so to speak, and recognize the pitfalls along the way. Beautiful name, too. Let's welcome to the show, the one, the only, Rae The Second to the show. What's up, baby girl?
Thank you for having me. What's up?
I love it. So, let's start out with first this name.
Okay.
Rae The Second. How did that even evolve?
So my first name is Ashton, and my middle name is Rae. And I was kind of thinking about like maybe doing something that I hadn't heard of. I didn't really want it to sound like too forced or anything. I wanted it to still be real authentic to my actual name. So Rae just came from my middle name, and then the second, I didn't want to do like two or anything like that, so I did Rae the Second, because a lot of my family calls me by my middle name, but I was given that middle name from my mom's best friend, so it just kind of stuck that way.
It's very unique. Very unique.
Thank you.
Cromwell raised,
Mhm.
college grad, 26 years old, massage therapist. Let's go back a little bit. I'm from Carmel. Love Carmel.
Mhm.
What was it like for you growing up? You're 26 years old. What was it like? Because we hear stories about Carmel,
Yeah.
especially being our
Right.
where we're from.
Mhm.
What was it like for you?
It was difficult. I feel like I've always kind of grew up in the suburbs, so it wasn't that I wasn't used to being in like a diverse area. But Carmel was a little bit rough. One, the curriculum was tough, like when me moving out there. So getting adjusted to that took a little bit of time. It ended up like, benefiting me, but
Right.
coming out there, yeah, that's tough. And then it was just the other aspect of you don't really know what group to kind of fit into.
Right. Right.
And I was a person where I didn't really feel like I needed to be in a group. I kind of just wanted to be myself, but Carmel was so like cliquish, and everybody had their own different group of just trying to find themselves because it was so many of us. Like my graduating class was like 1,300 my senior year.
Yeah, it's a pretty much
Yeah.
Carmel's a university.
And then it's probably 30 black people out of all of that. So it was kind of hard to find like friends. I didn't really honestly hang out with a lot of people that I went to school with outside of school. Just because like I kind of grew up with them because I went to school with them, but I never really like was able to kind of like establish friendships. So that was a little bit difficult. But other than that, I would say just as far as like all the opportunities that they had at Carmel, that was cool. I appreciate that. Yeah.
You wind up taking your talents to
Yeah.
North Carolina. What did you study in North Carolina?
I studied communications because I've always liked to write. That's always been my thing. So I just figured, well, let me do some type of degree where I could work with people and my classwork won't be a bunch of math. It'll just be writing. So I got my degree in communication arts. I ended up going out there because one of my family members went out there, and my experience was great. I pledged while I was in school.
What did you pledge?
Delta Sigma Theta.
I hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so the school that I went to was really small, and that was, I think, a good experience for me because I kind of struggled to find my ground at Carmel. So I was really able to come out of my shell in college and really just figure out who I was and also be around black people. I went to a HBCU, so that was kind of like the cultural experience that I needed in that time in my life. And I learned a lot just about our people and how we can be successful in different areas, because you don't really see that, especially in Carmel. You don't see that a lot where it's a group of African Americans that are really thriving. So college really exposed me to all of that, and I was down south, so
Yeah.
that was fun. That was new, and my college experience was great. I learned a lot. Yeah.
My daughter attended Carmel school system, and she benefited from it as well. You mentioned something when you went to the HB school. I know I'm from Albany State College, University of Albany, Georgia. I know about the HBC school. I'm a little bit older than you.
Yeah.
And I can probably resonate a little bit with coming from a particular high school environment to a pretty much HBC. But now I don't even know why we really call it HBCs. I know because they were founded, but it's so diverse
Yeah.
now than when it was when I went. It was HBC pretty much.
Yeah.
Like now you have all different minorities at the
that go
school,
there.
white, black, Orient. I mean, they all over there. You mentioned a shell environment in high school and junior high in just the surrounding area. And you was able to come out of your shell when you went to North Carolina. What were you holding back in your high school versus going to college that you was able to finally unleash?
I think it was more so like the opportunity was there for me to like join organizations and actually feel a part of like what was going on, so that I could find out more of like who I was. Because at Carmel, it was like there were so many people that it was hard to like, I don't know, I guess like latch on to something to where you could have the opportunity
Limited
to grow.
resources for cultural development.
So being in an environment where some of my classes only had 15 people in them. So it was a lot different to where you had a one-on-one relationship with the professors where they could tell you about, hey, we got this organization on Saturday, you know, you should come, and you can meet other people, and then you kind of figure out more of like, okay, this is what I actually like to do, versus when I was at Carmel, like I was in band, but I didn't end up doing band all 4 years either, because it was just like, I don't really feel seen in this area. So you kind of just try to find an outlet in other places. Yeah.
Speaking of band, you shocked the hell out of me. You're self-taught.
Yeah.
With the drums. Is drums called percussions?
Yep.
Okay. I did band too, a
Yeah.
little bit. I played the alto sax.
Okay.
And the bass guitar and the electric guitar.
Okay.
A little bit of piano. And you taught yourself piano.
Yeah.
And you did that at a young age of
At a young age.
6 years old? How in the hell did that even come about?
I don't know. I have.
Was there a piano in your house?
No. So my parents aren't like, they're music people as far as they like music, but they're not musically inclined as far as like they play instruments or sing or anything like that. But my mom said that like at an early age, she was in choir and used to take me with her all the time to choir rehearsal. So I think I kind of developed a love for music early on, and just with like the church that I was in, my goddad was playing the drums at the time. I was probably in first grade, and I used to watch him every Sunday to the point where I started picking it up, and he would just throw me on the set, and eventually I was just the church drummer. And so I did that growing up, and then once I got, yeah.
6 years old, they just said, here's some sticks and start beating.
Yep.
And you was able to actually go along with the church beats.
Yep.
Get out of here.
And then I just end up picking up piano because anybody that really reads sheet music, they'll know that like if you can play the drums, you can pick up the piano because it's all the same keys. Like there's certain percussive instruments like a marimba. If you lay it out, it looks just like a piano. So I kind of just picked that up just from playing the drums. And then if you in church every Sunday, you'll pick up an instrument.
Oh, you in church every Sunday.
Yeah. So if you dare enough, you'll pick it up. And then, I don't know, I guess I just had the natural gift for it. So,
is there advantages and disadvantages? I asked a couple of people that self-taught. I'm kind of both. I studied first with the black notes.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
But if I hear something, I can play it.
Yeah.
With no problem. I don't know how to do it, but I can do that. But to me, that's a disadvantage because if somebody gives me a music sheet,
it's
I can't
hard to look at.
Yeah, like, do you have that problem as well?
So I did. I didn't. So when I first started learning to play the drums, I was just playing in church. Once I got into middle school band, I went to Carmel school, so they made us learn how to learn music. So that's when I really learned, and it helped as far as like concert band. But I know some good musicians that don't know how to read music, and they can just really naturally play by ear. So I feel like it gives you more opportunity if you can read sheet music. You can get hired for more gigs and stuff like that. I don't feel like it necessarily limits your talent though. I feel like people that naturally pick that up are a lot more gifted than somebody that just sat on YouTube and learned how to read sheet music. That's how I
So
feel.
in other words, me and you are gifted. We can
Yeah,
just hear and
because
go.
that's hard.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay. I like that. So, what do you like best? Drums, percussions, or your newfound passion? I'm probably giving it away.
yeah.
Singing.
I have to say singing because I don't drum nearly as much as I used to. The singing is like my full focus now.
Well, don't you like Sheena E?
Yeah, Sheila E's the bomb, but I don't know. I feel
What's a
like
but? Sheena E was like the first chick I ever even seen plays the percussions,
yeah,
man.
I don't know. I feel like I would probably tap into it more if I started doing like live performing more.
Hmm.
But I think I have more of a love for like singing and writing my own music and like not only being able to like deal with the drum beats part of like a song, but just putting the whole song together. Like I think one of my favorite parts of the creative process is like me having an idea of how something sounds in my head and then finally being able to listen to it and it sounds like how it sounded in my head. I think I have more interest in that.
Who's your favorite dual female artist? Like you hear Alicia Keys and how she gets on that piano, man.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I'm even singing her songs. You know, what I mean, getting
Yeah.
emotional. I've yet to see too many women, if any, take the percussions and become percussion and vocalists at the same time. Is
Yeah.
that possible? Because I've never seen it.
It's possible. I haven't seen a lot of women do it. Like I would say my favorite person that probably does it is Anderson Paak.
Really?
Yeah, he's real good. But it's not that popular. Her might do it a little bit, but Sheila E's probably the main one. Yeah.
So why all of a sudden the gravitation to being a singer?
I don't know. I think I always had a love for singing because I used to do musicals as a kid just because I liked to sing. I didn't really care to act, but I loved music and I started like singing in probably second grade.
Hmm.
So I think singing has always been there. It was just a matter of do I want to actually do that or I was just playing so many other instruments. I was focused on other stuff. But once I didn't do like drums in school anymore, I just put all my focus into singing.
Were you singing in college? Did you do like lyrical and um, maybe musicals
I
there?
did. I didn't do any theater or anything, but I did the university choir my first 2 years. I was in the choir at school.
Who recognized your voice, your talents?
I remember like when I was going down there to get my dorm, they were like the band and that whole department was like doing auditions for scholarships, and I was just like, well, I like to sing. Do y'all have a choir? And I just auditioned and got a scholarship, so that's how I joined choir. But
That's
yeah,
called the right place at the
so
right
I
time.
just showed up, I guess.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, I was doing like open mics, events, and stuff that they would have on campus. But by that point, I already had all the equipment I needed in my dorm, so I was just recording anyways.
What about your mom and your dad? You
Hmm.
know, how supportive is your family? Yeah, I looked at your beautiful tattoo. That's your
It's my uncle.
uncle.
Yeah,
How influential? Let's start with him. How
yeah,
influential was him? Because if you got somebody's tattooed on you,
yeah.
that's pretty big.
Yeah, family is really important to me. He passed away in a car accident, but we're a really tight knit family. So he was somebody that was just very involved in my life. My parents are real supportive um, of everything as long as it's the right thing for me to do. Of course, they're very supportive of anything I decide, but they actually like my music a lot. So
How did they
yeah,
tell you they like it? And how did you even tell them, I really want to kind of pursue this? Well, you're 26 years old. They're probably like,
yeah.
hey, the world is yours. Go on at it.
I think my parents, especially my mom. I think she's probably always known because she was the one taking me to auditions and
Hmm.
lessons. They were always investing in me. Like my parents, it's funny because they put me in piano lessons. I started with piano before drums. That was like the first thing that they just took me to do. And I think I quit after like 2 weeks and just taught myself. So they've always been like pretty supportive of, okay, this is the one thing that you like to do. We'll support that because I tried everything, sports, everything, nothing stuck. Like music was the only thing where I was like, okay, I actually like to do this. So yeah, they're pretty supportive though.
What were some of the pitfalls that you are now encountering? And not trying to hamper on your age, but 26 years old, you really haven't experienced a lot of pitfalls. Let's get
Yeah.
real as it pertains to life. But just in the sector of music itself, there's so many outstanding creative artists out right now. I
Right.
mean, trying to find their niche. What were some of the pitfalls that you've encountered so far?
I would say just with music, I feel like for me, just being a creative, I never like I'm not a person where I can go and say, "Oh, I'm gonna record 5 songs today," because I really feel like your music is the best when it expresses how you feel at the moment. And so a lot of times when I was struggling with my mental health, just with I don't know, it could have been anything, a breakup or like, just going through normal like teenage, adolescent kind of stuff. Like I feel like that affected me and my drive as far as like I don't really want to work on music. So a lot of times I will also run into the issue of because I write all of my music, I will write a song and it's like, wow, that sounds really dark and that only kind of resembles how I felt at the moment. And I noticed that a lot of my music was starting to reflect how I felt about a heartbreak or it was just kind of sad. And so just as far as the whole rebranding thing, I wanted my music to be like relatable for people to listen to and it's like I can understand where that's coming from but also uplifting and not super dark every time you listen to it. So now like when I record I still talk about what I'm going through because it's just natural to go that way because I write my own music, but I try to write it in a way to where it's like this song still makes me feel good. It's just about something that I can understand.
When you say super dark, like how dark of a closet pretty much were you in that it was
um
resonating to your music, and then you later realize, you know what this is. But was it really dark? Because the bottom line is, if you're a writer and you're creative, you're only speaking from what you're going
what you
through,
know
which may
right.
appear to be dark, but was it so dark that you really think the people wouldn't have understood it?
No, I feel like the music that I've recorded just throughout the time that I've been recording my own music, I feel like a lot of it was relatable, and that was the good part about like the music that I have out. But just as far as like the music that I'm working on now, I wanted to keep it versatile. Like not every single song is about a toxic relationship because that's not the only part to a relationship, like that kind of thing. So I think that like some of the music that might be sad for me to go back and listen to because it reminds me of like maybe a dark space that I was in. I do think it's good to put that music out sometimes so it's relatable. I just wanted to keep my portfolio kind of open. So it's music for different scenarios in there and it's music for everybody to relate to.
You mentioned something too that I thought was that I hear a lot of artists have a difficult time. We had an artist submit his music to the iambeast radio station, and I'm listening to it, and the music and the message was beautiful, and he put profanity in it, and I'm thinking, I called him on the phone. I was like, dude, I'm like, why did you mess up the song? He said,
Right.
well, I got a clean verse. I'm like, okay, but why would you even have messed up the first verse with this? You said you once had some stuff like that in your music. What made you decide to say you're better than using these words to express your feelings to the world?
Me personally, um I felt like one, I've always been a person where I like to write. So I will challenge myself as far as when it comes to writing music to not do something that sounds like something I've already heard. But the biggest thing for me, I think, was just listening back to some of my music. It was like, okay, that curse word doesn't really mean that much to me, but if I wanted to sit with an older person from church or something like that and wanted to share my music with them because I'm passionate about my music, how embarrassed would I be if I played this song for them and it's got this curse word in it that I know they don't want to hear, but I still want to share my art with them.
Hmm.
And so I just started realizing like there's so many different ways to express yourself in music. And a lot of the songs that I had, it wasn't even a lot of curse words.
Hmm.
So it was like, it's not even a lot in here. I could clean this up in the slightest way to where anybody could listen to my song. It doesn't matter where you are. You don't have to put headphones in because you don't want somebody to hear what I'm saying, that kind of thing. To where I wanted to give myself more opportunity as far as with my music and not really to limit myself. So anybody could listen to my music.
What's missing in today's music?
I would say influence.
Explain.
I think a lot of the artists that we have out now don't necessarily have like a lot of artists from a different time period that they are influenced by. A lot of artists now make music how they want to make music, which is nothing wrong with that, but I feel like just the authenticity that's missing in music, I think it goes back to having different people from like a different time period where music was timeless. I feel like if you as an artist take inspiration from those artists, you'll have a more authentic sound. And I feel like a lot of the artists that we have today, their favorite artists are people that are currently out. And so it's like everything sounds recycled because everybody's taking off of the same style kind of thing.
Who are your timeless artists?
Um, my favorite artist of all time is Brandy. I've been a Brandy fan forever. Um, but other than that, Lauren Hill. I've liked Lauren Hill since the first time I saw Sister Act. So that's one. Whitney Houston. Um, I love Sam Cooke.
Really?
Yeah, I really like Bobby Womack. I'm like an
You
old
like Bobby
school.
Womack?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Layla Hathaway, India Ari. Like I like a lot of artists that like have real feel good music. You could listen to it any day and it sounds good in the car. But that's also what I grew up listening to. I have a heavy gospel background too, so
Mm.
I feel like that influences like my sound. But that's just what I grew up listening to.
You mentioned your mental state.
Mm-hmm.
Without getting too deep, what were some of the things that you had to overcome as it related to your mental state to get back
Yeah.
on track to where you at now?
I think the biggest mental challenges that I personally have had in my life had to do with growing up in Carmel and not necessarily being stuck in my environment in Carmel because my mom put me in a lot of like programs that were in the city. So I was able to be around other black kids growing up and I had friends that went to other schools. But as far as my everyday life, Carmel was really all that I knew. And I think even though like my college experience was a great experience for me, it was almost like a culture shock because it was two total different environments.
Hmm.
So I feel like just me figuring out like who I am and how I want to show up and just the kind of person that I wanted to be, I feel like I struggled with figuring that out for a while. Not really knowing
Did you share with your mom and dad what you was going through, or did you
um
live in silence pretty much? 'Cause you're the only child, correct?
yeah, I'm an only child. I feel like I'm so used to like being kind of on my own and being independent that I probably really didn't share much with them. I'm close with my parents, so we do talk, but probably to the extent of like how I really felt, no. It was just, I'm in college and I'm having fun, but I feel like it was really day to day me trying to figure out like I don't know, I guess just I wouldn't say I didn't really know who I was because I've never really struggled too much with like self esteem or anything like that. I think it was just more so like socially, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing of like, okay, I kind of want to find a middle ground of like, I was in this whitewashed environment for so long and now I'm engulfed with so much culture, but it's also a little bit different for me because I've going to school with white kids every day and I'm in college where I basically live with black people every single day. And I'm down south, so like they're culturally different. They didn't grow up like me, that kind of thing. And for a while, like I don't know, I kind of went through the whole feeling of like I was in an African American environment and it was great for me, but I also felt like I was so suburban because of like how I grew up in Carmel, like little stuff. Like I'm used to going to Starbucks all the time, and that's normal to me. And then I'm in college, and like to certain people, they thought I was rich just by little stuff. So it was, I don't know, it was a challenge for me to kind of figure out like how I wanted to show up socially, but you know, eventually it comes
What did you
together.
think you took away from having that diversity? You know, with
Yeah.
growing up in the suburbs as Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville, Fishers, where let's get real. When you're
Yeah.
out there, you do have opportunities.
Yeah.
Whether and it's created to those areas are created to provide opportunities. Let's be
Yeah.
real.
Hmm.
Um, but what did you learn from those opportunities that were different,
Hmm.
that made you go, wow, the world really is different?
Um,
Because you did mention the Starbucks thing, and I get it.
yeah, I think as much as I feel like I might have hated going to Carmel growing up, I think I still didn't realize how privileged I still was
Hmm.
until I got to college because I went to a school where it's a private college. We didn't have that much money. I'm in the South, and it's just a total different environment. Like my freshman year, as soon as I moved in August, you know, it's hot. I'm in North Carolina. Our dorm don't have air.
You wanted air conditioning.
Yeah, to where I'm like, okay, I'm in a whole different environment. But I think what it really taught me was that you should still be grateful for the opportunities you have because as much as I struggled with Carmel's curriculum going there, I had a 4.0 throughout college because I had so much knowledge from going to Carmel and now I'm at a black school where the curriculum's not as hard. You know, it was just a
You
whole
was
different
able to really go
experience.
through with
Yeah.
the least
Hmm.
efforts.
To where I think what I really got out of that was just a real reality check of like the differences between the opportunities that we have as black people and the opportunities that they have.
Yeah,
I think that was just like a real eye opener for
you hit
me.
it dead on the nose. I think a lot of people don't realize that. I think we get so caught up in the fact of where we live and
Hmm.
stuff, but it's really not the matter of where you live. It's what opportunities can you take advantage of
Yeah.
in the location that you're at. And some people unfortunately don't have those, and it
Hmm.
makes navigating a little bit much more harder.
Yeah.
Um, you have two EPs. Did I
Hmm.
say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, two EPs. Well, you got music out, and
Yeah.
I get it. You rebranded. You want something
Hmm.
different, and I guess at 26, what better time than now,
Right.
so to speak. But you got two EPs out, and the songs are "Feeling Blue"
Hmm.
and "Love Stories." Heck, I might as well download those on Spotify, Pandora, and all those other platforms that this is at. Explain those two songs and why you felt the need to write them and what are they about?
They're really a compilation of all of the music that I recorded in college. And a lot of that music was literally recorded and mixed and mastered by me in my dorm. So even though like a lot of the stuff that I was going through during that time, I'm no longer going through, I still like that music a lot because it was when I had the least resources. I really didn't know much about recording and everything to where I definitely like when I go back and listen to that music, the drive, I can hear it in the music to where I was really trying to figure things out, but
Mm-hmm.
that was a lot of music that like I really took a lot of time on because I was new to everything. And so a lot of the music is just about what I was going through, just whatever I wrote after class or just what I was working on. But yeah, that's basically those two projects.
You before we wrapped up,
Mm.
before we wrap up, you mentioned that you're an independent artist, um, and you're now understanding or learning how to be your own musical engineer. Why both of these categories you want to take upon on yourself versus going into somebody's studio versus signing with a major record label? I mean, what's the end game here?
I would say I like having the versatility. I like being able, sometimes to go to a studio and record with somebody because I'm a person where I can tell you exactly, especially since I'm a musician, like I can tell you exactly how I want something to sound. I can tell you what I want changed to it, what I want to take out or whatever. But sometimes I don't always feel like actually sitting down and doing that myself. But at the same time, I'm also a person where besides me putting music out and wanting other people to hear my music, that's really a passion of mine to where I would make music if nobody ever listened to it. So a lot of times I like to be at home and record just on my own because that's what I like to do for fun. So it was always just important to me for me to learn how to like record myself at home so where if I want to sit down and write a song because I'm sitting here and I have a song idea in my head, I don't have to be on somebody else's time. So that's just to have versatility, that kind of thing.
Who are some of the local artists that you kind of like to listen to or you kind of want to collaborate with?
One of my friends from high school, we've been friends a long time. Her name's Terica. Terica is actually in New York right now doing like Broadway stuff and that kind of things. But she's a really good artist. She's got some great music out. Other than that, I have a lot of friends that rap that I would love to do music with. One of my friends, Dose, does music. I would love to do music with him. And I also, a lot of just the different artists at Stone Tree. I'm around them a lot and listen to a lot of their music.
Now, who's Stone Tree? I never heard
Stone
of
Tree is a recording studio down here in Fountain Square, and they just have a lot of artists that come there and record. But a lot of the artists that record there are actually really good.
Okay, let's give shouts out to Stone Tree.
Stone Tree.
Where are they at?
Fountain Square.
Fountain Square.
Yep.
Okay.
And honestly, like really recently, I've just started like coming more around a lot of the artists in indie and kind of figuring out what the scene was because I was in Charlotte for so long. But yeah, Stone Tree's got some good artists for sure. And then just a lot of my friends, we kind of all have the same passions. So especially like in the gospel world, because I've been in church too for so long, a lot of my friends do gospel music too, and they're good as well. So.
How can the viewers reach out to you? How can we get this music? How can we book you for guest appearances?
So,
where are some of the places that you perform at?
Honestly, Stone Tree, they have like an event center, and I do a lot of like the open mics and just the different events down there. We're actually getting ready to do like a little mini tour and go to different states and perform in different venues. So I'll be performing there, and then other than that, my music is on all platforms, just under Rae The Second. I'm on Instagram, pretty much everywhere.
Okay, I do this to everybody that's an entertainer. Blow us some acapella of one of these two. I'm gonna let you pick it out between Feeling Blue and Love Stories. Give the audience something. Let us hear this voice.
Let's see. Well, those are projects, so I got to pick a song. Okay, so I can sing some of my new song that I just put out. It's called "Show Me Something."
All right, show me something.
So it goes, I wanna get down with you, if that's okay with you. Show me some. Show me some. I wanna get down with you. Whatever you're wanting to do. Show me some, yeah. Show me some. So, yeah.
All right.
That is one of my songs.
Thank you so much,
Of course.
Rae The Second, for coming on to the show. You guys make sure you subscribe and like and follow her and get her music. This has been another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show.